So like I kid you not, like my favorite story here. So have you all seen Undercover Boss? You know,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
he like yeah. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna play Undercover Boss here, and I start showing up at the job sites, you know, trying to just see like what is going on, right? Like so, I show up at this one job site. I'm there at like 8 a.m. You know, and I expected the guys to already be there right at 8. You know, they don't show up till around
Wait,
9. You know,
wait.
so
Yeah, hang on. So, this is software boy trying to get into the construction world. Chris in the construction world. So you heard he just heard? Yeah. I got there at 8. Well, hi. We're in Texas. It's like 125 degrees with 3,000% humidity in the sun, and you guys don't get started till what was that number?
Eight,
9.
nine.
You
well,
didn't get there till 9.
we no
That's even better.
we were you know typically started at 6 a.m. That's why I was surprised to find that the crews weren't already there. You know,
There
I
we
was sort
go.
of expecting to roll up
You
secretly,
you
but
mean that
nobody's
they
there.
just don't show up when they're supposed to? Oh shit! My
Well,
God, how'd that
so
happen? This
Did
must
so
you
be
what I
fun.
did you create a program to fix that?
we did so
Really?
what I found out
I
though
think
is
it's called the cattle prod.
they went to Home Depot to go shop for all the materials. So you know I'm gonna own this one. Like we should have
Actually,
had
I call that's the shop and shit trip because
well
they shop and take a shit and grab a coffee, then they show up.
Did they have the coffee first though?
They get the no
Because
actually. So
doesn't
the way it
one lead to
rolls,
the other.
they walk in, and if you try to go to a depot here in Atlanta in the morning and try to go into the 8 stall bathroom, there's a line. Son, there's a line. If
I
you
had
try to go
no
to the
idea.
you try to go to the
I
coffee,
was going to the
if you
bathroom
try
there in
to
the
go to
middle
the
of the
pro
day, and I'm
desk,
like,
if you try to go to the pro
"Look at these
desk
stalls."
and get a coffee at 8:30, the coffee's out.
Wow.
They're making a new pot. So Eric, I love this because welcome to the shit world that we decided to get into. So
you know
and you're helping us fix it. I love it.
I'm taking responsibility for this first one though. I learned my lesson that we should have already ordered the materials, had them on the job site, or at least had them ready for pickup. Like anyway, so they show up at the job site around 9, you know, and you know, I could tell the customer was going to be a little bit more of a pain. You know, he's kind of peeping out, looking, you know, out what's going on. You know, but like at around 11 o'clock, they realized that they needed to go back to Home Depot because they forgot some materials. Instead of calling the project manager, instead of calling the office, instead of like, you know, just like sending one person,
It's
all
okay, Chris.
all three of these guys
I'm
get back
back.
in the car and go to Home Depot.
Right, every one of them. Every
All
one of
three.
them goes
They
there
were
because all three of them got a fucking shop and take another shit because they had 5 fucking burritos last night, and they all have to come back at 12 and get started. Oh, but then it's time for lunch.
Real estate.
it's
I missed
lunchtime, so it's noon. So they literally go to the van, they pull out their microwave, plug it in, and sit down on the job site for an hour.
Because it's lunchtime, Eric. I've been working all day. No, you haven't
Obviously.
done shit all day except 2 shits. You've shit for all day, and you took 2 shits, and now you're eating. Yeah, I've had a busy day, Chris. I'm like, I know you have, but oh
Chris,
my God, I'm
the,
fired up.
the
Oh, this is gonna
straw
be fun.
the straw that broke the camel's back was when at 2:30 they all three get back in the truck and go back to Home Depot a third time. That's when I get the call from the customer who's irate. He's like, they have literally done absolutely nothing, Eric. You
two
told
hours of
me
work.
we're going to get this job done on time. And these guys are literally sitting around doing nothing. They keep coming and going. Like, he was so pissed. And I was like, okay, I see the problem.
Welcome to the Small Business Safari, where I help guide you to avoid those traps, pitfalls, and dangers that lurk when navigating the wild world of small business ownership. I'll share those gold nuggets of information and invite guests to help accelerate your ascent to that mountaintop of success. It's a jungle out there, and I want to help you traverse through the levels of owning your own business that can get you bogged down and distract you from hitting your own personal and professional goals. So strap in, adventure team, and let's take a ride through the safari and get you to the mountaintop.
Hey, everybody, we get rocking and rolling. I can't shut Alan up again. Oh, my God. Alan's telling me stories.
Enough about me. Let's talk more about me.
Please, my God. Alan, I'm gonna tell on Alan. Before we got started, Alan said, a friend of mine has passed away who I met. And they've asked me to give remarks about this guy. And I'm like, I don't know who he is. So we actually workshopped it a la Johnny Carson before we got on.
Chris was feeding me
I
jokes.
feed them jokes because I think every funeral needs to have them. I mean, seriously, guys, it's a tough subject. But think about that. And I want everybody to think about this for just 1 minute. If somebody were to ask you to speak at somebody else's funeral, what would you say and how would you deliver it? Just think about that. Ruminate on that for a
I've
bit.
been ruminating.
I know
It's
you have.
a lot of pressure.
I want all of
You
us
only
to
have
think about
one
it for a minute.
shot. This is a big deal.
Dude, I think that is because you've always heard this story. What would you write on your
Tombstone.
obituary, your tombstone? What's going to be written about you when you're gone? How about this? What are you going to say about your best friend who's sitting to your left, talking on a podcast when he goes? Because I think we figured out which one's going to go earlier. The guy drinking way too much
I
bourbon.
need to start working on my remarks for Chris. But I told him, I'm like, I've never been to Vegas with you. I've never even played your freaking golf course that's right outside your house. Why would I speak at your funeral? Obviously, there are many other people much more important to you than me.
There are other people who could tell way better stories that would not work in a Catholic church. That's
Oh,
great.
so you know, I'm a son of a minister. I won't swear in church.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right,
I
Alan.
know
So
my place.
work on your remarks. And remember, I'm a really funny guy. Thank you. No, again, think about that for a minute, because I thought that was that's a big question you would ask in a mastermind group. What would you say about your best friend to help their family get through this grieving process? I mean, it's a big question. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree with everything you say, Chris.
Thank you, Alan. Can we get to our guest now? I mean, seriously, Eric's been waiting patiently. We got Eric Fortenberry from JobTread on today. Guys, I've talked to him. He probably doesn't remember this, but I did talk to him when I was thinking about changing field service software, and I did. He told me his story. I've had 3 other guys here in the Atlanta market who are using his software. I went to a NARI conference in Austin. Did we mention that?
You're the president of yeah.
Thank you. I'm the
Yeah.
president of Atlanta, and I'm the national board. And and Eric was on stage.
Am I supposed to genuflect?
Well, the hat, the scepter, I've got it all coming.
Okay.
The crown, and I've got a new throne. So if you can't see me on YouTube, guys, new thrones for both of us, by the way, that we do. But Eric, I got a chance to talk to him. Number one, passionate about his job, passionate about his business, more passionate about his customers. This is going to be rock and roll.
But we got to cover something first.
Let's do it.
He's in Texas, alum of University of Texas. I'm assuming he's aware that there's a game coming up this weekend.
All right, so you want to timestamp this one?
Yeah, we do.
Well, this isn't going out until the end of the
I
fall.
don't care.
All right.
So we're going to get a prediction out of him, and we're going to find out if
All
it's
right.
right or wrong.
You know what? All right, because this will go out in the middle. All right, Eric Fortenberry, who is going to be the national champion in the NCAA football?
I don't even care about that. I want to know.
I want to
win in Texas and Ohio State on Saturday.
All right, fine. You answer that, then you answer the real question.
I mean, it's obviously Texas.
What's the line?
3. I think
He doesn't care.
it's 3. It's 3. There are 3 dogs. I think Ohio State's favored by 3 at home. Yeah. How about that? First time a number 1 has been a dog in the first game.
Yeah, kind of a tough start to the season. No cupcake there.
And they got Arch. In Arch, you trust, Eric?
You know, I'm hopeful we'll have a good season.
Man,
That
is very
Coach Sneak.
political.
Wow. You obviously been
One game
too much
at a
time
time.
with Sarkisian. Oh my God.
One game at a time.
Who's going to win the national championship this year?
I mean, I'm going to go with UT as well.
I would. I'm telling you, dude, they look good. I mean, here in Georgia Bulldog land, they're actually UT's getting a lot of press about what that team looks like right now.
Can you imagine how much that ticket's going to go for? It isn't Texas coming here this year?
It is, and I'll tell you what, I do know because I don't have one. And the other thing is, I'm renting out my house, and I've already rented it out, and it's a number.
I'll bet it is.
Yeah, I'm covering mortgage for a couple of months on that one. Not selling that house just yet, everybody. For those who probably don't listen much, my son went to Georgia. He's down now in Texas, in Baylor. So our house that we had while he was in Georgia, we were going to put it up for sale. Well, we missed the window of selling it, so now I have it.
Well, except for I offered to buy it, and you just gloss that over.
Oh, Eric, never have a real estate agent as a friend who lowballs everything he ever tells you.
I mean, we could do a live auction right here.
I like it.
See, I like the way Eric thinks.
All right, can we get back to Eric, please?
You
want more predictions?
I'm not done.
Do you want to know?
Apparently.
You want to know who's going to win the softball? What do you think about UT softball? They're good too, by the way.
We could talk about the bats in Austin.
We can't. Well, that's true. That was crazy, man. I didn't get to go see them, So again, we talk about
And
that.
how do you know it's crazy?
Well, because I had to watch it on YouTube. So in Austin, Texas. So if you don't know this, at 5 o'clock at night, there's a bridge in Austin, and the bats come flying out of there at sunset or sundown. Right? Have you ever watched that, Eric?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy thing to see.
Right? So I did because I do another show here locally for home service companies.
Yeah, this is two name drops.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Anyway, so I had a pest control guy come on. And I'm like, "Hey, do you know about this stuff?" I said, "So is it true that batshit crazy is that a true statement?" He goes, "Absolutely."
It makes you crazy.
Yeah. He
What?
calls it guano.
It is guano, but I mean, how does it make you crazy? Do you have to eat it?
I think it's. I always talked about that about women, so I just thought,
Well,
no.
God, sometimes you need to whisper in my ear before you actually go
All right.
over the air.
All right, let's get into this. It's a good entrepreneurial story. You're gonna like it. So anyway, I will tell you.
Why don't we have him tell us?
Oh yeah. Hey Eric, what'd you do? Oh, by the way,
Started this
welcome to the
thing,
show,
you know?
buddy.
There's the
Let's go.
hard questions from Chris.
Here we go. All right, man. Come on, give us that story. I love it. Let's go.
Yeah. So where do you want me to begin?
Let's not go with what you did before this. Where'd you get this idea, and what did you make? Hiring people is the hardest thing we can do. Retaining people is even harder, but man, it is so hard to find good people. That's why I put my trust in qualified applicants. The team over there has done a great job helping me find sales managers, helped me find my office manager, helped me find my general manager, but has also helped me find my handyman here in my business at the Trusted Toolbox. Qualified applicants, they do a great job. They realize that this is not just a recruiting effort, it is a marketing and recruiting effort. And the way they attack our space of home services is amazing. Go check out Qualified Applicants now to help you with your hiring needs.
All right. So, I sold my first company in 2015. A buddy of mine was running a construction company. They're about 5 years old, had 10 employees, doing 5 million in revenue, but just struggling to scale the business. They just no systems, processes. The owner asked me to come over and said, "Hey, man, can you help me figure out how to scale this thing?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. I mean, couldn't be that hard, right?" And I walk in. I mean, it was just like total chaos, right? Like we had just papers, binders everywhere. Like literal timesheets are walking in the door. They're being put into these folders. They're printing off every bill, put them into these folders, just waiting for the project manager to come by. Whenever that was going to be. Whenever that person comes by, they'd initial on it, and then someone would type it up and put it in this spreadsheet, and then it get copied over to some other spreadsheet, and then ultimately entered into QuickBooks. And like, I think at one point I found like quadruple data entry, and that's like when my mind almost exploded. I was like, all right, guys, like time out. I see the problem. Like, and this is like, 2 hours in, I'm like, this is so apparent. Like you guys are lacking systems and processes, let me just go find you something. And, went did a deep dive, just looked at everything, all the construction management software out there, put together this big spreadsheet, all the the features, the pros, the cons, the cost, how customizable it was. And like at the end of the day, though, like I struggled to make a recommendation for these guys. It was like, this stuff is either like, looks super antiquated, been started, 10, 15, 20 years ago, looked like it was going to be super expensive, or it was just going to be something that like, we really weren't going to be able to customize to meet our needs. And I kind of didn't really know what to tell the guys. Like, I thought I'd be able to easily find you something and then just help them implement it. But they ultimately came back and were like, look, Eric, you're a software guy. Can't you just build us something? And I was like, whoa, hold on. I wasn't trying to take on a full-time job here. I was just trying to help a buddy out, asking me to like create another, potential one-off solution here that, they certainly weren't qualified to maintain, once I, kind of gave it to him or whatever. And, I don't know, just pushed back initially, got to thinking about it though. And, my wife was actually, I think she really just like wanted me to get out of the house and go like find something else to do with my time. I'm way too young to be retired. And, she's like, Eric, this looks like it could be another huge opportunity for you, and I got to thinking about it and just, again, kind of looking back through everything. It's like, I think she's right. I think I need to go back and let me just talk to him. And so, ultimately I went back to the guys and said, look, I'm willing to do it under three conditions. One, I take over as CEO, need the full ability to right the ship, to hire, to fire, implement whatever systems process we need. Two, I told them I give them 1 year of my time. I would show up every single day. Like we would get this team back on track, fully producing. And 3, though, everything I build is going to be my intellectual property. So if at the end of this year, it gives me that opportunity to go and create my next software company. And they agreed, made me partner.
Whoa,
CEO
they
took,
agreed.
They must have been desperate.
Seriously, they didn't give you the two. They didn't give you the both like the double barrels. I mean, you gave me the hook 'em horror and shit, but I'm thinking double barrels, bro. Like, no, bro.
Yeah, it
this
was
is my company, my job, my business, my baby, and you came in and they said, okay.
Pretty much, it was again desperate times call for desperate measures. But they were just like pulling their hair out. Like literally, there are 3 partners in the business, and all 3 of them were running at full speed in different directions. And so it's just like the left hand can't talk to the right hand. Like they needed not only the systems and processes, but I think they needed me to come in and play mediator a little bit and kind of help get them back on the same page, get one unified leadership team going. And yeah, man, we essentially I built JobTread out of a needs basis, started with the estimating, and just like for the life of me, I couldn't figure out like why in the world could we not ever hit our target profit margin? We're targeting 30%, want to make 30% on every job. And it's just so wildly all over the map. And it took a while, but eventually like I sat down and I'm like watching these guys build their estimates. And I finally figured out when I saw a guy, he pulled out his calculator and he like sat there and, he typed in his cost and he just did times, 1.3. And so he was actually, instead of using.
Whoa. Wait, hang on. I need a minute.
Use your fingers. Go ahead.
No, I'm going to fucking kill these guys because I've seen a guy do the same thing. I'm like, what number is that? He goes, well, I thought that was our margin. I'm like, I'm about to kill you.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, here we go. All right, go, Eric.
Yeah, so they were marking up their cost by 30%, and so that if you mark up your cost 30%, the most you're going to get is a 23% profit margin. So we're literally shooting ourselves right in the foot, right out of the gate, had no chance to hit a 30% profit margin. And again, it took me a while to actually figure out what was happening. And look, to calculate, price using margin, instead of multiplying, you're dividing it, a little bit more complicated, formula, that versus just kind of multiplying by, by this number. But, at the end of the day, like when we figured that out,
how many
I was
people
just like,
listening just drove off the road?
You should be. If you didn't drive off the road, you need to go park in that Chick-fil-A, go park in that QT, go park in that Publix. Don't park in that BP because you're probably going to get jumped. But listen to this, because that's the number, bro. You just lost that. He said, oh, instead of multiplying, divide by. I'm like, that's exactly where I started. I'm like, I said, I know this sounds like 3rd grade. I said, but you remember when you had your multiplication tables? Listen to division 1. I said, so stop that multiplication bullshit. Yeah, I said, that's the wrong number, bro. Wrong number. So Eric says, God, I'm 2 hours in. And I'm like, oh my God, hey, here's your problem. Oh, wow. What's that? They flunked 4th grade. Okay. All right, Eric, back to you.
Look, I realized it's like, man, you guys need to put away your calculators, just like, and there was also this extent of like, they're literally just pulling numbers out of thin air, right? Like, they totally making things up, had the good old boy mentality. We can have handshake type deals, like, no documentation, no scopes of work, and like this just kept biting us. And we didn't they keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome, pretty sure that's like the definition of insanity. And so I was like, look, guys, like this is clear. First problem we need to solve is we needed to have a tool where they could build out and document all of the cost for a upcoming job. We need to figure out all of the labor, all of the materials, like any equipment, permits, like whatever costs. I was like, that is something that you can go figure out right now. Go come up with the cost, document it, and then we will just automatically calculate our price based on our target, 30% profit margin. And so by having this first transition to creating this documentation, it really smoothed over the whole handoff from sales to project management. Like we literally, we couldn't even use change orders because nobody actually knew what the hell we sold them. Like seriously, it was.
Thing. But the estimator said you were going to paint the whole house. No, it actually says paint repairs. No. He told me You're going to paint the whole house. Not for $200. We weren't. No, not doing that.
Did you
Yeah,
get any,
there's-
did you get any pushback at first, or were they like, "Oh, please do this"?
Well, that's the interesting thing. So like, there was all this fear about, oh my gosh, like, if we increase our price, like, we're going to lose all these deals and we're not going to be able to close. And I was like, all right, fine, listen, here's the deal. We literally overnight switched to how we were calculating our jobs. So, instead of marking it up 30%, we now, technically you'd need a 43% markup to get a 30% profit margins.
Hello.
So we overnight, we increased our prices.
So they did. They didn't say, "Hey, Eric, you don't understand. This is our business. You're a software guy. Man, stay in your lane."
Well, no,
But again,
the funny thing, the funny thing was the owner, he was the only one that understood the difference between markup and margin, but he failed to train and implement a system that could calculate it correctly. So he got it.
Hello.
It was just it was like, oh yeah, duh. How did they not know that? It's like, well, did you train them on that? No. Oh, okay. Did you give them a tool to do it for them? No. Oh, okay. Did you ever check their work? Did you ever do performance reviews? Like, did you ever look at anything, right?
So, Eric, you're in that room and you're telling these guys to do this. Was he in the back going, "Hey, what Eric said? I've been saying that. Hey, what Eric said? I've been saying that. Hey, I was saying that too. No, that's what I meant, guys. That's what I meant." What was he doing?
Exactly that. Like, I've been telling you all this and yada yada, and it's like, again, sometimes message sense, not always message receive, or just kind of in one ear out the other. But like I was prepared for when we increased the price overnight for there to be some pushback, and I told the guys, like, look, if any customer pushes back, just bring it to me, let me know. We'll negotiate. We're not going to lose on price due to this change here. We did not hear not a one time did a single customer push back. And that's what told me we were just leaving way too much money on the table. To some extent, like, I feel like we were getting taken advantage of by some of our customers who knew that we were just way underpricing. And I mean, this is just such a huge transition for us. Again, being able to now, use change orders because we had a clearly defined scope of work. I mean, that was just like revolutionary, right? Like, we're no longer going to just keep doing the work and keep going about and not getting paid. Like, that is not how you build a successful, profitable, scalable business.
So you got to bless your heart, didn't you? You got to bless your heart.
Can you imagine the customer referrals? Hey, they do great work, but they have no idea what they're doing when it comes to the
sign me up.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, and I can see the sales guys coming back going, "Hey, man, I just closed 5 neighbors." I'm like, "I bet you did, bro."
Yeah. So,
and you're looking for your commission right now, aren't you?
Yeah, they were.
Guess what? We have a new calculation in place. Yeah, you ain't getting any. What? Yeah, you just sold 5
that's
losers.
actually a good question. Do you get involved in the pay plans then too? Because what I've noticed is a lot of companies, they just have these convoluted pay plans, or they're ones that are just counterintuitive. I mean, was that part of what you built?
I immediately, the first thing I did was I took both the salesperson, all the salespeople and all the project managers, and I aligned their compensation where they both were going to get a 10% commission based on the gross profit of that job.
Woo-hoo.
We are.
They all said, "Oh man, sign me up, sign me up." Oh, Eric, we love Eric. Eric's our new friend. And
I mean,
month, they're like, "Hey, Eric sucks."
We
go
for
to the
better
Dumpster
for
and talk about
worse,
Eric?
we were going to be aligned with everything from the selling, from selling the job to how we're operating the job. It gave everybody an incentive to make sure that this job gets sold correctly, accurately, and then we go and we operate and we execute on what we sold.
What was their pay plan before?
Sales had some, commission based on just however they, it was very convoluted. Some sort of bonus structure, commission piece based on just top line revenue. Had, again, like they could sell, some bogus job at some huge amount that like we can't even deliver at, and like, they're still making money even though the company's losing money or not.
Right.
Like, wait, it just didn't make sense, right?
All right, so that was your 1 year of building JobTread. You're getting in, you're digging in. I mean, it sounds like it was a lot of fun, but obviously it was a lot of like, oh my God, what the hell?
Now hold on, Chris. So that's part one. Part two, it's one thing. It's one thing to sell the job and accurately price it, but to actually be able to go and execute on that job, like that's when I started doing these ride-alongs with the project managers, trying to understand like what the hell's going on here. How are you guys dealing with this? Like, and why are we able to perform better on certain jobs depending on the crew that gets assigned to it versus others. And so, like, I kid you not, like my favorite story here. So, have you all seen Undercover Boss? You know, where
Yeah.
he like, yeah. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna play Undercover Boss here, and I start showing up at the job sites, you know, trying to just see like what is going on, right? Like, so I show up at this one job site. I'm there at like 8 a.m. You know, and I expected the guys to already be there right at 8. You know, they don't show up till around 9. You know,
Wait, yeah, hang on. So this is software boy trying to get into the construction world. Chris in the construction world. So you heard he just heard? Yeah. I got there at 8. Well, hi. We're in Texas. It's like 125 degrees with 3,000% humidity in the sun, and you guys don't get started till what was that number? 9.
Well,
you didn't get there till 9. That's even better.
We were, you know, typically started at 6 a.m. That's why I was surprised to find that the crews weren't already there. You know, I was sort of expecting to roll up secretly,
but
mean nobody's
they
there.
just don't show up when they're supposed to? Oh, shit. My
well,
God, how did that happen?
Did you create a program to fix that?
We did. So
Really?
what I found out though
I think
is
it's called the cattle prod.
they went to Home Depot to go shop for all the materials. So, you know, I'm going to own this one. Like we should have had.
I call that's the shop and shit trip. Because they shop and take a shit and grab a coffee, then they show up.
Did they have the coffee first though?
They get actually. So the way it rolls,
the other,
they walk in, and if you try to go to a depot here in Atlanta in the morning and try to go into the 8-stall bathroom, there's a line. Son, there's a line. If you try to go to the coffee,
I was going to the bathroom in the middle of the day. And I'm like,
if you try to go to the pro desk and get a coffee at 8:30, the coffee's out.
Wow.
They're making a new pot. So, Eric, I love this because welcome to the shit world that we decided to get into. So,
you know,
and you're helping us fix it. I love it.
I'm taking responsibility for this first one, though. I learned my lesson that we should have already ordered the materials, had them on the job site, or at least had them ready for pickup. Like, anyway, so they show up at the job site around 9, you know, and you know, I could tell the customer was going to be a little bit more of a pain. You know, he's kind of peeping out, looking, you know, out what's going on, you know, but like at around 11 o'clock, they realized that they needed to go back to Home Depot because they forgot some materials. Instead of calling the project manager, instead of calling the office, instead of like, you know, just like sending one person,
it's okay, Chris.
all 3 of these guys get back in the car and go to Home Depot.
Right, every one of them. Every one of them goes there because all 3 of them got a fucking shop and take another shit because they had 5 fucking burritos last night, and they all have to come back at 12 and get started. But then it's time for lunch.
It's lunchtime, so it's noon. So they literally go to the van, they pull out their microwave, plug it in, and sit down on the job site for an hour.
Because it's lunchtime, Eric. I've been working all day.
Obviously.
You haven't done shit all day, except 2 shits. You've shit for all day, and you took 2 shits, and now you're eating. Yeah, I've had a busy day, Chris. I'm like, I know you have, but Chris, my God, I'm fired up.
The straw that broke the camel's back was when at 2:30, they all 3 get back in the truck and go back to Home Depot a third time. That's when I get the call from the customer who's irate. He's like, they have literally done absolutely nothing, Eric. You told me we're going to get this job done on time, and these guys are literally sitting around doing nothing. They keep coming and going. Like, he was so pissed. And I was like, okay, I see the problem. We were not aligned with how we had sold that job. We sold that job at a fixed price, yet we were paying our guys a variable cost because we paid them time and material, T&M. Like, we had an hourly rate and a day rate. And so these guys were incentivized to go and like inventory Home Depot and the, you know, and the nice cool HVAC, like, you know, instead of getting the job done on time the first time. And then like I realized too, like, these guys, there were always issues. They never completed the project the right way, and they never cleaned up after themselves. We had to constantly send our guys back to the job site to fix what they should have done right. And so this is where I was like, all right, here's what we need to do. We're going to now send out bid requests, and we're going to make all of our crews bid on every single job. And if they tell us it's going to take 5 days and cost $5,000, great. I'll go plug that into my budget. I'll go sell the job. I'll issue a work order, and bam, you're off to the races. Now, if you get it done in 3, awesome. You're getting paid the same amount.
Hey,
if it
Eric,
takes you 7, it's on you.
how many jobs started to get done in like magic 3 days all of a sudden? You're like,
Oh, it was like overnight. They became like experts at their profession. The quality of their work shot up. We completed the jobs on time. They're on budget. Like the customers were more happy. Like they realized they couldn't keep just dragging these things out and getting paid to do nothing.
Now, to be fair, where were they going to go take a dump? Where did they fit that in, Chris?
well, here's what we do. I would tell you this because I do have
Do you have a training for that? Do you have a process?
I do actually. I tell them where to go. But no, we have a pay for play thing the same way. We do not pay by the hour. We pay by the job and quality outcome, which results in the review from the customer on Google. And so he built this into a system, which is extremely hard to do. And that's the thing I tell everybody is that doing this, it sounds great. And guys, if you have everybody right now on time and materials, it's hard to switch over because the mentality changes. But immediately you just heard this from Eric. He just saw it from the outside looking in. It happens. So you know what they do? They get everything done in the morning. That coffee happens at 6:30, 7 o'clock when they're getting ready for work. Before they leave the house, everything kind of gets taken care of. You know what I'm saying? As a regular guy, you know what I'm saying? If you don't know what I'm saying, he took his shit before he fucking left the house. And then he went to my job. And then he started working. And oh, by the way, if he didn't have the materials on hand already, which we already told him what to have, they'd be sitting there ready for him to get ready to work. So no excuses to go back to Home Depot because we need all three of us to go shopping. So I love that, Eric.
Yeah.
You got to see this.
Now,
Fun stuff. And
you know,
built a
again,
system for it. That's what's amazing.
so we got estimating, we got that dialed in. We got our project management, our job costing, you know, kind of all the those aspects of it. But like when I turned to the back office, I might should have started there first. I didn't want to dig into the QuickBooks side until, you know, I sort of got my feet under me and understood all the other things leading into that. But man, when I took over this business, we had over $800,000 of accounts receivable.
Do what?
Yeah, we had earned nearly $1 million that we failed to collect. And instead of focusing on our AR and collecting our receivables, you know what the geniuses did? They went to the bank and they took out $200,000 lines of credit, collateralizing that AR to make payroll.
Wow.
That's when my mind almost just exploded. I was like, what the hell's going on?
I think you just broke Chris.
I'm hurt. I'm actually going to start crying. I'm like, oh my God. That sounds like a great idea, boss.
What's the top line revenue of this company at the time?
They were doing $5 million in revenue
with $800,000 in AR.
So I'm doing $5.5 million, and my AR is 35.
Yeah,
thousand. Oh my God!
It's the most asinine thing I've ever seen.
All right, how'd you fix that?
So there was that, you know, and look, and so what's happening, right? We got the guys out in the field telling the back office, hey, send that, you know, progress invoice, like send that invoice, the final invoice, like, you know, they're telling the back office, this lady, she was awesome. She worked her butt off. She sent the invoice. But what happened was that she was so overwhelmed dealing with AR and AP that she just assumed that the people in the field would make sure that, you know, we're getting paid. Now, unless they're collecting a physical check, which I don't know, probably 1 out of 5 or, you know, 4 or 5 customers still paid with a check. There was no way that they would know because they didn't have visibility into QuickBooks, nor should they, to know if we actually got paid. And the problem was we just kept working. We kept going, not knowing that we're not even getting paid because she's so overwhelmed dealing with everything that's coming in at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And the guys in the field have no idea. They just keep going. And so like, we're just sitting here like not focused on AR at all. And every day that goes by, your chance of collecting that is just dwindling, you know? And we ended up having to write off hundreds of thousands of dollars of those receivables because we couldn't keep kicking it down the road and pretending like we're going to get paid one day. Like that was just total bogus.
All right, hang on. All right, Kramer, you just said, we just wrote it off. Oh, hey, it's a write-off, Jerry. Remember the famous Seinfeld?
Yeah,
hey, it's just a write-off. That's $100,000, bro. That's $100,000 that I didn't get because everybody it just screwed up. I mean, I would lose. I mean, no, I'd be out of business. I would have been out of business. There's no way. There's no way I would have kept going. I mean, I don't. And I'm not going to a bank to get me a loan because my guys can't collect money on work we performed and finished.
All right, I'm going to ask it again. How'd you fix it?
Fix it. Come on,
All
fix
right,
it, man.
well,
Tell me how you fixed it, funny man.
well, there's one more piece to this puzzle though. That's AR. Now, on the AP side, the accounts payable side, that was like, I mean, when I started digging into that was like death by 1,000 cuts. There was no like huge, like just obvious glaring, like, hey, we just totally like, got robbed. But like there were so many times where we were being double billed, we were being overbilled. We had materials on the wrong jobs. Like we literally had no handle on what these expenses were for, but they were coming in at rapid fire. We're running like, 15 jobs at a time. And again, like we have this disconnect between the back office and the field. And so the way that we fixed it is that we needed to integrate with QuickBooks. I needed to be able to, whenever the guys in the field using the software logged in, they needed to see, here's all of our open invoices. The project managers, they needed to be able to have work orders and purchase orders that every single bill that came in referenced. We very, on the accounts payable side, it was very simple. We implemented a rule and said, if this bill is over a certain amount, or if it was under a certain amount, like $500, we weren't gonna like, get our panties in a wad, like we're just gonna, move on and pay it. But if that bill was over that amount, and if that bill didn't match the purchase order or the work order, then those are the ones that we're gonna flag. If they matched, awesome, approved, paid, we're done. But it allowed us to then be a little bit more strategic and focus our time on the errors and on the issues that, again, like we didn't agree to this. Why are we being billed for this? Or, oh, hey, we already paid that bill. I never could directly like point to any one crew and say like, you are intentionally frauding us. I couldn't do it. I couldn't, as much as I wanted to find that, I did not ever find that. But there was always excuses like, oh, my spouse, or she didn't know, or accidental. And it's like, you can't kick your crew out for, if they say they made a mistake. I mean, I'm gonna forgive once, maybe twice. I mean, after that, we're done. But like it was very hard to directly like, I couldn't even like accuse someone because like, they were very disorganized. They didn't have systems and processes. Like they were disconnected. And so like, at the end of the day, by linking up our QuickBooks and giving that visibility to everyone out in the field, as well as implementing a non-payment clause in our contract that said, if you do not make a progress payment, we can stop work. I'm not an attorney, so I don't know what, it goes for everyone else's states out there, but like make sure that if you want to be able to legally stop work, you have to protect yourself. And in some states will say, look, you entered into that agreement. I don't care what you signed. You agreed to this project. You have to get it done, even if they don't pay you, which again, that's bogus BS, but protect yourself with legal contracts.
I think what Eric's talking about
state
is, what's that?
Move out of that state.
No, but if you're getting to that point, it's way beyond that. But the point is that you have a conversation, and again, it's 17 years. I'm in my second legal thing in 17 years. I already settled the first one. So it doesn't happen. What Eric's saying, though, is if you have it there and that understanding's there, probably two rational people, one of you being really organized and getting your shit together, that's you being the project, being the contractor, being the service provider. Sometimes those homeowners are a little crazy. What? Did I just say that? I did. I'm going to keep saying that. But you got to have that, because if you have that, you can come back to it and they go, well, can we just agree to this, this, and this? I'm like, yeah, we can. And then next thing you know, a magic check comes out. So back to Eric's point, having that as an upfront contract or being involved in that early stops a lot of that legal shit that happens after. Legal stuff is just at the end. That's the divorce contract.
I always thought you just sent over a couple boys to pay him a visit.
Well,
there's an intermediate process.
So funny enough, you just said that. We just did pay a visit, and Magic. Funny enough,
Tony
they were there,
and Frank the
and Goody and Chris actually collected because they were thrilled with the project. Did we see that? We didn't see the email. You didn't see the email, the text, the phone call, maybe the physical mail that we sent you to? None of that. Okay, but we're here. And he paid. So back to Eric. I love how he shows that that visibility.
It'd be a shame if anything happened to that dog of
We,
yours.
we, we actually we had a cruise show up one time, armed, wanting to know where his
That's
payment
a good-looking
was.
car, my friend. What?
And yeah, we had this one cruise show up, showed up with very visible guns on their belts and wanted to know where their check was. And I was like, man, I got to get back to software. This is no, we're dying over here. I don't know what's going on, but thank God, like these guys had some good locks on the doors and things. But anyways, I wouldn't get sideways with with people over something too small. But one
Me
other.
neither, Alan.
I'm
not in software, am I, Alan?
No, you're
No.
not.
Oh, sorry.
I think one other, just like, again, I think one of the craziest things that happened. So like right after I took over, our insurance provider reaches out, we're a month due, for our renewal, and says, hey, we're going to renew you guys, but can you go ahead and just send over all of the COIs, the certificate of insurances, for all of the guys who worked on any jobs in the last 12 months? And I was like, yeah, sure. No problem. I mean, just go to the back office and I'm sure they've got it. Right. And then they're like, oh, Eric, well, we collect it when they start, but unless they send in their update, we probably have about half of them.
Oh.
And so insurance obviously doesn't like that, and they fine us $35,000, like that we had to pay right then in order to get our policy renewed, or we're going back out to market. And it's like, wait, what? We have to come up with $35,000 cash that we don't even have. We're like borrowing, by collateralizing our AR to pay this like stupid, there was no there were no deaths, no injuries, no thefts, no issues, no claims whatsoever. But we, according to insurance, took on this extra liability. And all we had to do was be organized and make sure that we collected it from our subs. But nobody's tracking it. Again, just one of those things like, hey, it'll never happen to us.
But Eric, these guys are good guys. They've worked with us for years. Yeah, I know. But they didn't pay.
Yeah.
Where's their insurance? Oh, it lapsed. Oh, did it? Oh, that's funny.
So,
haven't heard that story before.
Put a little feather here on the cap. At the end of that 1 year, we grew this business from 5 million in sales to 8 million, and we increased our gross profit by 43%. So single-handedly implementing the right systems, the right processes, we had hundreds of thousands of dollars of additional profit on the bottom line after just 1 year of this transformation.
All right. So looking back on it, you're in the middle of it. I just want to know, here's my question. How many years do you think that took off your life?
Oh, a lot. I mean, and I can only imagine, these partners in the business. It was like literally like cats and dogs fighting every day, and they could not, get on the same page. They both were very, very bullheaded, and just their way was the right way, and it took a lot more than just the system to bring them together. It's about leadership and coaching and making sure that you have a cohesive, functional management team that is on the same page, and not just having one person say one thing and then someone else turning around and undermining them. We had to do a lot of that type of work as well. But it definitely a stressful, it can be stressful, man. And the more jobs you take on, it just compounds. And when you don't have that foundation built, when you don't have the right systems and processes, man, these guys are getting gray hair. I mean, I got gray hair now over it, and it was only 1 year of my time, but I see this time and time again. And this is what burns people out. There's nothing wrong with working hard, but when you feel like it's just why am I doing this? You're just literally sitting there just churning away and not seeing the fruits of your labor. You're I sell more and I'm not making any more money. Well, that's how you know you got a problem.
Newman and Seinfeld. The mail. It just keeps coming.
It just keeps coming.
Publisher Clearinghouse Week.
I know we keep referencing Seinfeld because we're old, but this is, I think going through the crucible was what you just did. I mean, but that's what steel, that's how it happens, right? You got to fire it up. You got to fire up steel. Do you think that having that 1 year experience helped you form where JobTread is today? Do you think if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be here?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I've seen so many, so many other people who, have tried to create some sort of a similar system or software, but they didn't actually ever spend any time in the trades or in construction or like working at a construction business. Like they're just trying to like solve some problem that they think is a big problem. But like until you really understand it, it's very hard. And I'm a big believer in like it's called dog fooding, right? Like you eat your own dog food. Like you build, and create your own solutions, like to your own problems, solve your own problems. And that's like that's what I did in my last company. It's what I've done with this. Like I truly believe that helps you to build the best possible product and to help you build it the fastest way too. Because when you feel your own pain, like your arm is on fire, like you're gonna put out that fire very, very quickly versus yeah, someone else is complaining about something, yeah, their arm's on fire, we'll get to it when we can. Like no, like your literally arm is on fire, like you're gonna deal with it right away. And like that is so valuable and so helpful to drive things forward in a very meaningful way.
So I got to ask you this. You took this over for a year and you talked about hiring and firing authority. Did you find that at the end of the day, you needed to let people go and get the right people, or was it just more of a training and an adoption of the new process?
No, absolutely. Some people needed to go, and there were it was hard because there were relationships involved, and they were like the king of kicking the can down the road, and making the hard decisions was it's hard, but like at the end of the day, like it's just not always the right fit for everyone. And so, but probably one of the hardest ones, one of the partners actually was in the financial role, in that financial seat. He's a marketing guy, really had no background in accounting or, wasn't just, he was in the wrong role. And that was probably the hardest ones. I was just like, guys, like we need a real CFO in here. We went and we did a search. We found somebody who had construction experience, CFO, brought him in, and I think he made a very, it was really important that we got somebody who could sort of rein in all of the finances and the cash flow and like having the daily, or the kind of the monthly closeouts and things like that like we were just, again, we had a bookkeeper. And
I mean, that guy had to have been relieved though, because sometimes if you're shoved into the wrong role and then they find the right role for you, it's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. Well, nobody likes to be kicked out of their own company, but I think
So
at the end of the day,
him all the way out. You just didn't find the right role. The right role was to be looking for a job.
So Alan says, I bet you he was relieved to get the kick the fuck right out of him.
What I heard was right role. He's a marketing guy.
Well, he's gone now. So
the right role is
give us the epilogue on that year. Are you still a partner in that company? Did you sell back to those guys? What'd you do?
Look, even though in my agreement, all of the intellectual property was mine, just to make sure it was clean. I basically got a signed off deal. I just gave them back everything that they had, given to me as a partner, gave me a little stake in this thing, and had a very clean documented process.
Because you wanted to be out. I mean, obviously you have to be out of that because the focus you have on JobTread, and I want to focus on that now, is growing this business and doing what you've done and growing this one. So you had this idea, you got out of it.
I probably should have stayed in it though. They did break 20 million in sales in 2023, so maybe I should have stayed in it. But I didn't want to be distracted by all the drama and the mess. We got them back on track though, so you
can watch your baby grow from afar.
Yeah.
So you got that going for you. All right. Oh my God. Oh, I'm saying that, but I'm not really saying it. Am I? I don't believe it. I'm still pissed. I'd be so.
So can anybody
can
have access to this now with the software?
All right, let's talk about JobTread. So, who do you serve? And let's talk about when you started it. Like, what would you call day one to day now?
Yeah,
and let's talk about that.
So we, I ran that construction company in 2018. Officially started JobTread in 2019. I recruited my best developer, designer, my CFO from my last company. They came on. We built for 2 years, and we started selling it in 2021. And so we got it to about 200 companies. And this was like, I learned the hard way, like starting up in the middle of COVID, like, it was no easy feat either. But like once they kind of opened up and we got to start going out to the trade shows, we got about 200 customers going that first year. The next year in 2022, we got to 1,000 customers. 2023, we got to 2,200 customers. Last year, we ended at 4,500 customers. And our goal for this year was 7,500. We actually hit it yesterday, 4 months early. So
Hang on. Ding, 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 ding. This dude is kicking the shit out of it, man. I mean, I love what he's doing because you got to celebrate this because right now I'm having a flat year in my business. I thought I'd be having a great year, but no, man, the economy was tough. The business is tough. I love what you're doing. I love how you're dinging it. So congrats. Let's keep talking about what you did.
yeah, appreciate it. No, and again, I'm very fortunate that our core team, it was really, people who had worked for me at my last company for, around a, decade, so we've all been together, and I think when you can have that immediate level of trust, respect, everybody knows their role, everybody knows what to do, it really helped us to get, hit the ground running. People look at us and think we're so much bigger than we actually are. I mean, we now have about 55 employees or something, but early on, we were just a very well-oiled machine. We are extremely efficient at what we do. We are wildly profitable even at a $199 price point. We have kept that same price point, the whole time. We were undercutting all of our competition on price. And it's just because, one, I'm not totally in this for the money. I want to just create something awesome. I've already had my big exit. We're good to go. We want to truly make as big of an impact as we possibly can. And that is by getting this into tens of thousands of contractors' hands all over the world, eventually hundreds of thousands. There's such an enormous opportunity here. And I'm so passionate about entrepreneurship. If you meet an up-and-coming entrepreneur, your chance of becoming a successful entrepreneur yourself are 8x, according to the Kauffman Foundation. And I'm such a big believer in that. And so, we've literally built this stage and have created this platform that we can not only give you the tools and the training, but we want to give you the inspiration, the motivation, the guidance, connecting people, giving you a network, a way to just so many entrepreneurs feel like they're on their own and they're lost and they're struggling and they're depressed, and it's there are so many others just like you that are out there doing the same thing at the same time, and it's all we got to do is bring them together. We got to work together.
Tell it.
Come on, Minister Son.
Yeah. So, okay, who is your target client, and what is their experience when they sign up?
Yeah, so it's really any construction-based business. We have very intentionally have designed JobTread to work for any construction-based business. So home builders, remodelers, deck builders, pool builders, roofers, painters, electricians, concrete, you name it. If you are custom bidding every job, then you need to have a good handle. And we took the approach of focusing on the financials first. So many other systems out there focus on the project management, the scheduling. It's what's the point in scheduling my job if I'm not going to make money on it? Right. We got to make sure that this is going to be a profitable job worth scheduling. And so we've put a very big focus on the financial aspects. And so, it's typically small, medium-sized businesses. We got tons of solo owner operators. I got people who have started their business a month ago and just are getting this in place, and that's awesome. They're laying the foundation from the very get-go. But we got people who've been doing this for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and maybe it's, someone kind of taking over, change of the leadership there. But at the end of the day, the bulk of our customers are residential, probably about 75% are residential contractors, the other 25%, commercial or maybe, hybrid between the two. But it's small, medium-sized businesses, usually, doing anywhere from, a couple 100,000 to, I don't know, we got a couple doing, 50. I think we have one doing over 100 million. A couple, we started getting these huge franchises now are bringing all of their, their organizations and all the different franchises together. So it's really kind of, grown on us. And over the years, as we've continued to add more and more functionality, it's enabled us to take on and work with larger customers, who needed some more of that advanced, functionality that we didn't have day one.
So what happens when I sign up? Because now I'm hearing, man, you're really busy. How am I going to get any personal attention? And well, I'm a solopreneur and I don't know how to work a computer.
Yeah. So every single customer that signs up, you get a dedicated customer success manager. Our entire customer success team, we hire you. You have to have construction experience, some sort of construction experience. Not saying you had to swing the hammer or whatever, but be involved in a construction company, somehow work with construction companies, come from the field, whatever it is. You got to understand what it's like to be at a construction company and the challenges that they have. Like I can't teach that to someone. I can't teach you about the chaos that happens, in the back office. Like you got to innately get it. And I think that helps them to really appreciate and have empathy for all of our clients. And so every single customer that signs up has a dedicated point person on our team. Now, even before they have to get in with that person, like we have a whole onboarding and training series. Every single day, we do multiple live trainings per day. And so, we have a JobTread 101 that happens every single day. We encourage every new customer to go to that. And our training team is phenomenal. The head of our training team, she actually has a doctorate degree in organizational change management and leadership, and has put together an entire curriculum to help people learn how to implement software into really bake it into your culture. You got to have buy-in from everyone. And so she walks everyone through this, and we've created all of this content to help people so that they can go through and again, in these live trainings, it's group based. There can be multiple people in there, but that has been so crucial to us being able to scale, is that you can go through these live trainings or you can watch them. They're all recorded as well. I encourage the live one because you can ask questions and interact. And then you use your time with your customer success manager to be a lot more strategic and focused on the things that are specific to your company that you need to get help with or ask about or whatever it may be. But they can knock out the bulk of their training, with these videos. We actually have a whole certification program. We do live boot camps in person at our office once a month as well. So there's lots of ways to get help, and if that's not enough, which, almost always is, we have this whole ecosystem of third party partners who have been able to build businesses to provide services like implementation services, coaching services. They might be marketing agencies, bookkeepers, accountants. They're also here, part of this community, fully trained on JobTread, and they're available to be resources to help these businesses to get up and running, as quickly as possible.
Eric, if you guys haven't figured out this kid's got passion, bro.
I know. I want to start a construction company now.
No,
the more trusted toolbox is back.
The more trusted toolbox is not back, Alan. You are going to put that away. You holster that sidearm, son. This thing is kicking ass here in Athens and Atlanta. We're kicking ass.
I got one.
In fact, we're coming to Dallas. We're going to kick the shit out of Handyman over there too.
I got one more question for Eric.
Okay.
It's really important,
right.
And we created a bond.
We did.
I think so.
Are we bonded?
We are bonded.
Right.
Look at the size of that water bottle he's got. It's
well, everything's bigger in Texas.
It is true.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. These are the best water bottles ever.
JobTread water bottles available on our site.
That's
Birch.
right.
He's pushing his birch. I love it.
I think if you sign up, you get a water bottle.
All right, let's do it.
I just want to know, where's the best barbecue in Dallas?
Jesus.
What are you talking about? That's the most important question. I should get three great questions.
Kicking ass. All right, fine. Let's have it.
Let's start a fight here.
Because I just went down there, so I can't wait to hear this answer.
I'm going to go with Terry Black's barbecue.
Hey, that was my answer.
Are they in Dallas or are they down in Lockhart?
No, they're in Waco. They're in Austin, and I believe they came up. And I would tell you what. So when we were in Austin, we went to Terry Black's for that conference.
I thought this was a crappy question. Look at you go. Anyway, go ahead.
So I go up to my son who's at Baylor, and so my son's name is Austin. He's going to Baylor. And I was in Austin for the NARI conference. Then I went up to see Austin, my son, and we went to Terry Black's at Waco. Nobody there. I was like, Austin. I said, Bud, we waited in line for 20 minutes to get through this. He goes, oh, Dad, usually it's like that. I said, but this barbecue is just killer, dude. It's so good. That brisket was killer.
Yeah.
I'm hungry now.
Yeah, you should be. Mm-hmm. Alan's a big cook, so maybe I'll take him there. Nah.
Yeah, probably not.
Hey,
why change?
Hey,
we
Eric,
got our.
When you come up here, we can play golf on my course. Alan's going to carry the bags for.
Yeah, I could carry. I could carry both bags.
I was going to say y'all should both come down to Dallas, and we have our annual user conference every January, and so we'll have we sold out at 1,000 people last year. We'll have probably 1,300 people coming in town. I'd love to have you all as guests at JobTread Connect. Maybe I even get the duo. You two are a great duo, man. I think we could do a live podcast from JobTread Connect.
Yeah, normally Chris doesn't take me anywhere.
You know what? We'll come down and do a live remote. Let's do that because
January is kind of a boring month anyway. Let's go to Texas,
guys. I didn't go with Eric and software, but I will tell you. Here's what I told you.
I
am. And I told him that too.
17 years, you still won't learn.
Well, this is a couple years ago, and I was
why
look,
are you so reluctant?
Aren't you more on the service side?
I am. So I'm very service oriented. He even agreed with me. So hang on. While I am bullheaded,
I'm
he
incredulous.
actually agreed. He said, I said, look, there's no doubt in my mind you will build a better software than I will go to. I said, but 2 years ago, I said, I got to go to an FSM, but I do 2,500 jobs a year. And he goes, I know I can build it. He goes, but you're right. You probably go this way. I'll tell you what, he earned my trust right there. And since then, people have asked me here in Atlanta, other people, hey, what would you go with? I'm like, based on your business, I would go with him. Based on your business?
Oh, he's going to sell some from this podcast.
Oh, hell yeah. And I will tell you what, 3 of the guys I did that to are on your software now. And you know what they
Nice.
all said? And they're part of my mastermind group. They're like, I'm a JobTread. I'm like, I know. It was a game changer. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. Because you know why? This guy has figured it out, man. Passion, bringing it to the business. Passion, bringing it to the culture, what he's doing. I love what he's doing. This is the American success story, just in a little small microcosm, but it's going to be big.
He is big.
Bigger.
I mean,
He's
we're
going big time, big boy.
I mean, we're arguably probably the fastest growing construction software, out there right now. I mean, we're signing up over 500 accounts every single month this whole year. We've
Get
got
on the wave, everybody. All right, Eric. We usually ask 4 questions at the end, but
All
I've got just one.
I like it.
You ready?
Yeah. I know which one you're asking.
All right. We usually ask, what's your favorite book? What's your favorite part of your home?
endless
Give us a-
customers, playroom.
All right. Your playroom?
Yeah, so we have a third story. This is what sold us on the house. Is a third story walk-in attic converted to this like playroom for the kids. Incredible, just like built-in like swings and slides and
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, he's got
Oh,
answers. I like it. All right. Give me the first one again. Favorite book?
Endless Customers by Marcus Sheridan. Phenomenal book. Great book. He's
Yeah,
gonna be
Marcus
he's gonna be
Sheridan.
our keynote actually at JobTread Connect.
Oh,
All right.
we got to go.
Hey,
We got to go.
Well,
Anyway.
we're coming down. You know what? We'll interview him. We're coming down. We'll be your podcast. We'll be your hype beast, baby. Let's go. All right, back to this. So we're also customer service
Freaks.
What's a customer service pet peeve of yours when you're the customer?
Customer service pet peeve of mine. I mean, like so like when I'm interacting with someone else's company.
You went to Terry Black's,
You're the customer.
and by the way, they're phenomenal at customer service too. That was really cool. I was like, "What's this? What's this?" And they would like walk me all the way through it. They're like, "So where are you from?" And I was with my son. I went, "I'm from Michigan." They went, "Oh, we'll help y'all, honey. Come on."
Bless your heart.
They did too. I got to bless your heart so bad.
I would say my pet peeve is when a customer brings an issue. Like you got to listen, and you have to very like intentionally listen and make sure that you understand what they're explaining, what challenge or frustration. Like so many times, people just immediately get on the defense. They immediately start thinking about how are they gonna combat this, or they just start like blaming something or whatever. It's like just like listen and acknowledge my frustration. Acknowledge the problem and that you understand before we solve that problem. Like, did you hear me? And I think it's so important that people, everyone, whatever type business you're running, like, you have to provide a great customer experience, and you do that by listening. You got 2 ears and 1 mouth, so listen and understand, and then you can figure out what problems you need to solve. But so many people jump straight to trying to like come up with excuses and blame things, and they skip over the whole listening. Like listen to your customers.
I so bad wanted to go. What'd you say?
Yeah,
But
I know.
I use this
Did
with
you
my
hear
sales
anything he
guys.
said?
No, but I talk to my sales guys about this all the time. When you're in a house, if you are trying to say, the customer says, my door doesn't work, I need a new door. And they're like, all right, well, we have the best doors. I'm like, no, you blew it right there. Why does this door bother you?
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you don't know. What is your pain? Tell me your pain. So Eric felt our pain in construction. I love that story. I love that he felt that pain. Because, brother, that pain I live every freaking day. Because I don't need project managers. My subs knew what they were doing. I tell my guys that every day. I was like, dude, I don't need you if all these guys know
for
what they're doing.
chaos, they wouldn't have jobs.
Right. All right. But, Eric, here we go. All right, software boy. You ready?
Let's do it.
Give us a DIY nightmare story. I don't want to hear about a contractor. I want to hear about what you did.
Yep.
Because these hands didn't happen overnight.
Well, I'm gonna. It's a partial DIY and a partial contractor here. So my daughter's room is It's got a closet and it's got this like little attic kind of nook, where you kind of just small little tiny, just little walk-in closet or attic thing. And so like we were having trouble with keeping her room cool, and or too hot or too cold depending on the season, and like I don't know, we basically came to the conclusion that because it was so cold in that little attic room that we needed to replace the insulation. And my neighbor a couple doors down just so owned an insulation company, and she's like, oh well, here, we'll just come blow in some spray, spraying insulation. I was like, all right, sounds great, right? We're gonna just get that thing insulated, and cool, no, not a big deal, right? Like that'll solve our problem. And so they come in and they basically blow in all the spray foam there, and we're thinking, okay, yeah, this is good, yeah. But like my daughter started having a bunch of like rashes breaking out, and like just all these like skin things, and like doctors are all like, oh yeah, it's like eczema, and like she'll grow out of it, and blah blah blah. And like we're like, I don't know, this doesn't quite seem right. And like we, my wife, who was just super persistent, kept kind of digging in. Finally, we go and we get her tested. We run some like huge panel tests. We find that she has like some crazy amount of flame retardant in her system.
Oh, good Lord.
What?
Yeah. So literally,
Dude,
just
what the what?
chock
Oh,
full
my
of flame retardant.
Holy shit,
And
Ellen, we just went anti-flame.
Yeah.
And so like, we're like, how in the world is this possible? Well, come to find out, we realized that the spray foam never cured because there was not proper ventilation in the attic. We literally just sprayed the whole thing, sealed it all up, and expected it to dry.
Yeah,
and
makes
then
sense.
there also just so happened to be a leak right above, like in the roof, where now it's like dripping in there. And so like that led to mold, which by the way, then she ends up, chock full of mold as well, and so like, man, it's
How does that make you feel as a dad?
Oh, it has been the worst, several years going through this. Luckily, we're all good now. She's all good. The home's been fully
thank God.
remediated. Like she's
Dude.
past all this, but we had,
This is up there. This is in the top 10.
Yeah, this is pretty.
Oh my God!
this is
As a
pretty
dad, you're probably going to carry that forever.
It'll be
it's-
in her book.
As a Catholic, here what I'm going to do. You're absolved, Eric. You're okay. It's fine. You'll do better. Keep going. Keep doing what you're doing.
Hey,
Dude, you bringing passion, bringing fire. JobTread, Eric Fortenberry. Go figure it out. Hey, Eric, how can everybody find you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, website's probably great, www.jobtread.com. If you want to connect with me personally, like I'm really active on Facebook. We have our whole JobTread Pros Facebook group that's got, over 7,000 members in there, but, definitely super active there. I'm on LinkedIn as well. You can reach out to me directly, eric@jobtread.com, but, we got tons of videos on YouTube, but, probably our website, great place. We'd be happy to have you schedule a demo. Our team will spend, however much time we need to walk you through it, show you, what it would be like using JobTread. We don't do a free trial. We do a 30 day money back guarantee, just because, again, we get so many new customers that we can't go and, just like, we need you to have some skin in the game. If it doesn't work out, if it's not a good fit, we're happy to refund your money, though. No questions asked, no harm, no foul, but we'd love the opportunity to show you JobTread, help you understand how it could improve your business.
So his sales is good. My sales is better. Go call this dude, man. I'll tell you what, don't short yourself. If that's your business, if that's your model, that's your niche, you're blowing it, because you guys got to keep going up that mountaintop. And guess what? We're all screwing it up. We keep thinking everybody's marking it up like we are. They ain't. Make it happen. He learned our lessons. He's learned it. He's put it in a system. Make it happen. Let's keep going. Hey, by the way, if you don't want to do that, keep listening to this fucking podcast, because we're going to make you better. Let's kick out of here. We got to go.
Cheers, everybody.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Small Business Safari. Remember, your positive attitude will help you achieve that higher altitude you're looking for in the wild world of small business ownership. And until next time, make it a great day.